Good morning to everyone watching out there. You're welcome to another beautiful, educative, interesting show. The show is Morning Ride, coming to you live from NTA2 Victoria Island, Lagos. This morning we will be talking about depression. There's so much of frustrations out there, and a lot of people walk outside being so aggressive. Could we say that so many people are falling into depression unconsciously? We have a professional in the studio that will talk, to us about what depression is, how you would know when it seems to be as if you are beginning to fall into depression, and every other thing that pertains to our mental health. Depression, we are made to know that is a state of extreme sadness, and it is also a silent killer that rears its head from time to time. So dangerous, experts say it can go unnoticed for a long period of time. What really is depression? Does it have a cure? Can it be treated? And can it actually be averted? These are many more we'll be talking about this morning with my guest in the studio. My guest in the studio this morning, she is Dr. Kike Oyekanmi. She's a chief consultant psychiatrist at the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Aru, Abeokuta, Ogun State. Dr. Kike, good morning.
Good morning, Jenny. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Good to have you this morning.
Thank you.
So many things happening now with the inflation in prices of food, fuel, almost everything is getting, everybody is so annoyed, everybody is frustrated. You talk to someone on the street and the person just snaps at you back and you wonder, what did I say? Or what did I do? What is happening in our environment? Really, can we say that people are depressed? Everybody is depressed going along the streets. We are all depressed. Let me start from here. What really is depression?
Thank you. Depression is an English word, but when we talk about depression as an illness, depression is a medical illness that has to do with the brain. Because the brain is the organ of the mind. The way we think, the way we feel, our behavior, everything comes from the brain. So when we say depression is a form of mental disorder that would not allow one to function as one should function, because there's this disturbance in that person's mood. Now, it is normal for somebody to feel sad or frustrated or angry or irritated when things don't go on well in that person's life. But depression is more than just feeling sad. When we say depression, we mean an illness, clinical depression. Now, this type of depression would also come in with so many other things. Assuming something happens to one, maybe somebody loses a loved one, or you lose a cherished dream or something like that. Yes, you can feel sad, but that sadness would not cripple you. It will not incapacitate you. You will still be able to function. But when it comes to depression as an illness, that negative mood, sadness, it could be irritability. You mentioned one, that some people can just snap at the slightest provocation, even when there's no provocation. So it is more than just ordinary sadness or irritability. In depression, you have other symptoms. You have things like the person loses interest in activities or things that he or she used to enjoy. So for example, maybe somebody used to enjoy watching football, and then the person is depressed. You might just see that the person is no longer interested in doing that. Maybe it's a woman who likes cooking, and when she gets depressed, she's no longer interested in doing that. Maybe it's somebody who likes sports, maybe going to the field, you know, maybe to play chess, to play draft and all these things, and the person would lose interest. Now, another symptom of depression that people need to watch out for is when you feel that you don't have energy. Sometimes you wake up in the morning and it's as if you have done the whole work in this world. You are just drained. You are fatigued even before doing anything at all. So in depression, you find yourself easily fatigued from doing even nothing or just a minimal chore. Also, you can have changes in your sleep pattern. So sometimes it could be that you find it hard to sleep. It could be that you wake up earlier than usual. It could be that you are even oversleeping.
Oh.
Yes. There are some types of depression that instead of manifesting as insomnia, insomnia is when somebody cannot sleep well. It can manifest with hypersomnia, that is when somebody is even oversleeping. It can also, depression can also manifest with changes in your appetite. So sometimes your appetite, you might just lose appetite, you don't feel like eating, or sometimes you are eating and the food is not tasty, it is tasteless. It's like you are eating wood. And sometimes too, some people who are depressed, they actually start to overeat. And this type of persons, this group of persons, we say that, you know, they are using that food to medicate the distress, the sadness, that feeling, that negative feeling. You know that when you eat, you know, you feel a bit happy, you feel pleasurable. So there are some people that would even be overeating. Also in depression, you would find out that you lack the ability to concentrate on things. You might be doing a task that ordinarily you should finish in 1 hour, but you see that you are making mistakes. 2 hours, you are still there. 3 hours, you are still there. 4 hours, even till the next day. Or sometimes you even procrastinate. Oh, I'll do this. I'll do that. I don't feel like doing it now. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it later. That could be a symptom of depression. Sometimes too, you just lose hope. You see the future as bleak. Nothing is going to ever get right. And then you feel helpless, as if there's nothing you can do that will remedy your situation. We call that hopelessness and helplessness. Also, sometimes you might feel guilty about little mistakes of the past. So you hold on to, maybe you have done or you have committed 1 or 2 mistakes in the past, and they are trivial mistakes that ordinarily you should just forgive yourself about. And this time you're feeling so guilty. You might even be feeling guilty about the errors of other people. Yes. Sometimes too, in depression, you might now see that you are having suicidal thoughts. Like, I'm tired of this world. Everything should just end. How can I take my life? Some people, it will start with the thought, and then if it is not treated, if nothing is done, can gradually progress into the person actually trying looking for means to exit this world. Also, depression can also manifest as physical symptoms. So, some people who are depressed can be having recurrent headaches, neck pain, back pain, stomach pain, and
back pain.
Yes. So when you find that you are always consuming paracetamol, or you are always consuming painkillers, or you are always treating malaria, every month you are treating malaria, you are taking anti-malaria medicines, or you are taking other medicines. You know, in this environment, people will say, oh, I have malaria, I have typhoid. So if you see that you are always taking some medication for some physical ailments, it might be that you actually have depression. So what I'm saying is that depression manifests with a whole range of symptoms. The way I manifest depression might not be the same for you, yes. So that's why we have a whole range of symptoms, but there are some core symptoms. And then when we begin to experience these things that I have mentioned, and they persist, they don't go away, and they disturb you from functioning well. Things you used to do before, you can no longer do them. When they start disturbing you, maybe you are a student, you can no longer concentrate, you can no longer do your academics. Maybe you are a wife, you can no longer do your motherly, your wifely duties. Maybe you are a director at work, maybe you are a cleaner, maybe you are a trader, and you are not able to discharge as you used to do. It might be that you have depression. And then, so in summary, what I'm saying is that when you begin to have these negative symptoms and they are intense, they cripple you, they paralyze you, and they are on for at least 2 weeks, then it is depression.
So much to digest there. But I picked one or two things when you were talking. You talked about sadness now. What I can get from what you have just said is that there's a thin line between being sad and being depressed. Now, how and when do I realize that I am beginning to cross rather to the other side?
Yeah.
Yes, because let me give you an instance. Maybe I change my environment and naturally everything there just gets me aggravated, just gets me, because maybe things are not just working.
Yeah.
I'm coming from another territory, here in this territory, and before you know what is happening, this is getting me annoyed, that is getting me annoyed, this is getting me, and I'm beginning to get annoyed so often. So how and when do I realize or need to begin to watch the fact that I might be moving to depression, since it seems to be as if I'm getting sad so often? What's that thin line, to...
Now, the thing is that, yes, it's normal to be sad when things are not going on the way you really desire. But when this sadness is accompanied by other symptoms, and yes, that I have mentioned, and when this sadness begins to eat into your ability to function well. So the example you cited, you move into a new neighborhood. Yes. It's going to be stressful, right? So you might find that you are still thinking about how to adjust. You might get irritable, but those things are just little things that are normal reactions to your change of environment. But when they now start affecting your functionality, when you are not enjoying life anymore, when you feel distressed, or the people around you, they are no longer enjoying you, they feel distressed, then you have moved from normal sadness to a pathological sadness, which is depression.
Moving to depression. Now, you said when you were defining depression as a medical, a mental disorder, which means it can be treated.
Yes.
It can be treated. Now, at what point do I need to begin to seek for help now? Or at what point do I begin to see or notice that my friend, my family needs help?
Now, whenever...
And how? Because I cannot, my brother in the house, or even my child, or even my spouse, I cannot just walk to that person to say, Ogbeni, you are beginning to be depressed though. The person will just, person that is depressed already, you just want to do another, you are depressed, and so how do we go about it, and when do we seek for help?
The first thing is that, in this environment, a lot of times, when it comes to the issue of mental health, a lot of people shy away from it. They don't want to talk about it. And then even when you see your colleague at work, or your spouse, or your relative, or your friend, when you see them display some abnormal symptoms, you know that there's something wrong with this person. But because of this cultural...
Our society.
Yes, this cultural holding back.
That's it.
Some people will say, I don't want to be the first that would go and tell that person that is there something wrong with you. And some people, honestly, they will say, are you prophesying doom to my life? So we understand our culture, but still, we need to break this cycle of silence when it comes to mental illness. So the first thing is acknowledging that mental illnesses are biological illnesses. Depression is a biological illness. It is not a spiritual thing. Because when people start having symptoms that are suggestive of mental disorder, instead of them to go to the appropriate personnel to help them, they will first go to their clergies, maybe the imams or the pastors or their traditional babas and mamas. So people must understand that the way we think, the way we feel, our behavior, they are all programmed from the brain. So the brain is the organ of the mind. So as I am talking, you are listening to me, you are digesting it, you're understanding, you are concentrating, everything is done here in your head. So anything could go wrong with it. The brain is a biological organ, just like the bones, just like the liver, the heart. So we should first acknowledge that. I mean, it's not difficult for people to acknowledge. I mean, if you have malaria, you can tell your friend that, oh, I have malaria. If you are hypertensive, you can tell them that, the doctor says I need to be placed on anti-hypertensive drugs. But people still find it hard to tell their friend that, I have depression, because they feel that it's a sign of weakness. It isn't a sign of weakness, it is an illness, and everybody is vulnerable, although we might have different degrees of vulnerability. So what I'm trying to say is that it is a medical illness. When you see any change in anybody, the person that you have known so well, you know the nuances of that person's behavior. So maybe you see that this person is no longer associating with others like he or she used to. The person is no longer doing his work. Maybe it's at work, and the person maybe is your subordinate or even your boss, and the person is no longer delivering.
Yeah.
Or the person, sometimes you just see that sad look on that person, or the person is even getting irritable, and people have to walk on eggshells around the person. Then you should know that there's something wrong. So we shouldn't shy away from being the first person to help that person, because sometimes too, when people are experiencing some mental health conditions, they might not really know at first. It might be the people around them that would first know that, oh, there's something wrong with this person. So whenever there's any aberration in somebody's normal mode of behavior or talking or reaction or attitude, then people should know that
something is amiss.
There's something wrong.
Okay, now I want to ask you, when someone comes to me to say that, YK, something is amiss, you no more the smiling lady we used to know and everything, is it possible? And as a person, I take it in good faith.
Yeah.
And I go back to say that, oh, and I try to, think about retrospect.
Yes.
And I see that really it seems something is wrong somewhere. Having acknowledged the fact that, yes, it seems something is wrong somewhere, can I help myself, or must I get to the doctor?
Okay.
Is there a way, having acknowledged the fact?
Helps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it possible?
Yes. There are things that, I said that everybody is vulnerable. There are things that we can do to lessen your chances of coming down with depression.
Okay.
Most mental illnesses, the specific etiology, that is the specific causes, are not known. So for example, in depression, we don't really know, what is the specific cause of this depression? Unlike in malaria, everybody knows that it's when the mosquito bites you and gives you that parasite, Plasmodium falciparum, that you come down with malaria. But in depression, it's usually a combination of so many factors that would now determine whether one comes down with depression or any other mental illness. So back to your question, that are there things that we can do? Yes, there are ways to promote your mental health.
Okay.
Even before the development of depression. But I'm going to limit myself to development of, assuming that you have actually now.
Yeah, I will go there.
Okay.
Yes, how we can avert depression.
Yeah, okay, yes. So let's start with that. You see, like I said, that it's usually a combination of so many factors. Things may happen around us. You don't have control over the things that happen around you, but you have control over the way you react, your own self. You can't control, there's inflation, there's this, there's that. You might not be able to control those things. Focus on yourself. So what are the self-help things that you can do? Number one, eat well. It's important that you eat well, because the brain, that is the organ of the mind. The brain that gets faulty during depression is the biological organ that needs nutrients. So eat well. And I don't want people to say, things are expensive. Yes, things are expensive, yes. But some people still, that little money that you have, use it well. Instead of buying these fizzy drinks that contain only sugar, naked calories, why not buy fruit? If you feel like drinking something, blend a fruit and drink it. That is healthier than what I have mentioned. Then sleep well, rest your system. Don't be chatting in the night. Don't be watching movies in the night.
Oh, really?
Yes.
But I hear people say, you watch movie as a form of relaxation.
It is true, but not at night. The night is meant for sleeping, rest. The day, do whatever you want to do during the day, but the night is for sleeping, and sleep well. Also,
How many hours?
for an adult?
Average.
Yes, at least 6 to 8 hours is okay. Although some people can still do well by sleeping for 5 hours, but averagely 6 to 8 hours of good night sleep is okay for an adult.
Okay.
Now, you can also partake in exercises. Exercises they're very fantastic, and people think that exercise is only when you want to lose weight or you want to look beautiful. No, exercise is also good for the brain. Yes, exercise is superb for the brain, so inculcate that into your lifestyle. Also, don't do drugs, don't smoke, don't drink. Yes, if you smoke or drink, or I mean,
some say red wine is
cigarettes,
good for the heart.
that thing, yes, some researchers have shown that a certain percentage of alcohol is good for the heart, but you can get that advantage by doing some other things, because that little thing that is going to give you is going to come with some other negative complications. So don't go there. Don't go there. So it's like you want to gain 1,000, but you are losing 10,000. It doesn't make sense. So we should exercise. Okay, I've mentioned exercise. Then things that also you can do that can ward off depression is your social connection. See, as human beings, nobody is an island. Your social connection is very, very important. Surround yourselves with people that can be there for you, not fair weather friends. Shoulders that you can lean on, people that you can talk to. Sometimes talking to a friend, the person might not have the solution, but the person might just shed a different perspective on that problem, and you are okay. So, I mean, when people listen to you, I mean, it relieves you. So it's a powerful stress buster. Then also make out time for fun and relaxation.
Oh my God.
It is important. Don't do work. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Yeah, you actually took that question out of me, that too much work, can it lead to depression?
Yes, because you'll be exhausted. I mean, the body is like an exquisite machine. So if you overwork yourself, just like your car, if you overwork your car, you don't service. You don't service your car when you need to. You don't change the oil. You don't change all those filters, the plugs. The car is not going to serve you well. So this body too, there are times that you need to rest it. There are times that you need to pamper yourself. Self-love is not selfish. Love yourself first.
Ooh, I love that.
Be concerned about your own, the way you love yourself, than the way you want other people to perceive you. Other things that people can do is that avoid unnecessary stresses. You see, in this life, a lot of times when people say they have problems, if you now sit and dissect their problems, you will see that a large percentage of the problems is man-made, they're self-made. So there are things, sometimes you engage in unhealthy relationships. Yes, that's one. Then sometimes you also engage in unhealthy competition. So your life is not about pleasing people. Some people are so concerned about the way people perceive them when it comes to material health and material possession and social status. So people are so particular about the way they look on Instagram. So they go to extra miles.
Oh my God.
But they buy things they cannot afford. They buy things, they go into debt, they go into these things. Some people say, oh, because I'm getting old, let me just marry whoever I need to marry. So that's unhealthy relationship. So because your relationship would also determine how happy you are, it's going to determine your mental health. So don't do things because of societal pressure. Don't be obsessed by the way the society wants you to be. What the society expects of, of you.
This is a conversation that honestly we cannot just finish everything today. I want to believe that probably my producer director would want us to have you some other time, because we still really need to talk about these and many more relating to mental health disorder. I've been talking to Dr. Kike Oyekanmi. She is the chief consultant psychiatrist at the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Aru, Abeokuta. And this woman, she has got over 20 years of practice and experience in mental health. And I tell you, you will agree with me with all that she has been saying today, that indeed she is a guru. Thank you very much, Dr. Kike, for being our guest this morning.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sure that you have learned so much this morning, because I have learned. She said, self-love is not selfishness. Create time for yourself. Look out for yourself. You first, because you need to be good and in good health condition to be there for people around you. Thank you so much, Dr. Kike. It's been nice having you on the on set this morning. We'll go on a short break. When we return, my next guest will be here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. That is where we are going to call it a wrap on the show today. I'm sure that you have been well educated, you have been well entertained today for the past 90 minutes. What more can I say? A new week is beginning, and I would say that amidst all of the frustrating circumstances that we are being faced with as a people and as a nation, a little gentle word and a smile, an act of kindness will go a long way to bring down the tension. Remember, violence is never and can never be a solution. Till I come your way, same time, same station, same show next week. My name is Yinka Kenny. It is bye for now. Combination, my baby, you and me.